Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I pray this reaches you well and in best health, my dear brothers and sisters. Alhamdulillah, I'm excited to have you all for another episode of Amazed by the Ayat. So for today, inshallah ta'ala, we're going to look at two verses, actually a couple of verses, but the main subject is going to be the one verse from Surah Al Imran. And of course, the topic of today is simple blessings. And you'll see exactly what I'm referring to, inshallah. So without further ado, let's go over the verses from the Quran that we are referring to today, which is again is from Surah Al Imran. And these are the verses 190 to 191. We're going to play them, inshallah ta'ala, have some discussion, and then I will have the supporting evidence, and then we'll end today, inshallah. So, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, Alhamdulillah, Rabbil Alameen, wa salatu wa salamu ala Sayyidina Muhammad, wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, a'udhu billahi min ash-shaytanir rajim, Bismillah ar-Rahman
إن في خلق السماوات والأرض واختلاف الليل والنهار لآيات لأولي الألباب الذين يذكرون الله قياما وقعودا وعلى جنوبهم ويتفكرون.
Such a beautiful verse, subhanAllah. Again, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, surely in the creation of the heavens and the earth and the alteration of the night and the day, there are signs for those who believe, who are people of understanding. Subhanallah. And then of course the next verse, who remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala standing and sitting and lying down on their sides and ponder on the creation of the heavens and the earth and say, O Lord, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Ya Rabb, you have not created all of this around us in vain. We proclaim your purity, so save us from the punishment of hellfire. Ameen. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala save us all from the punishment of the hellfire. Now this is a very beautiful verse, right? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is sharing this very, it's a reflection for us to think about, to ponder about. That in the alteration of the day and night, there are signs. One of the reflection, one of the audience member had shared was that if you read these verses, the first thing would come to your mind is that it's a proof that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is one. Because if you think about it, the intricacies of a day moving into night, a night moving into day, that's the sun, the moon, all the other constellations and the stars and everything that is happening around it, it can't be done if there were 2-3 people doing it. It has to be one God that knows all of the logistics of it, and then the details that are in it. Subhanallah is something to think about, yeah? And if you look around also, like just the verses itself, and this is, by the way, a message you will see in many of the chapters in the Quran, right? You'll look at Surah Rahman, which we will listen to a bit, and then we'll look at other chapters that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala repeatedly tells us to be aware of what's around us, to be thoughtful, to be mindful of what's happening, right? And then one of the activities we do with the youth, and many of those when we do seminars on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, one way to think about it, right? It's if you were to use Google Maps and you start zooming out, you zoom out, you start from Masjid Salam or your home, and you zoom out 1x, and then 2x, 3x, 2 times, 3 times, and you go up and up. At one point, which is I think about when you start seeing just the Spring, Texas area and such, you lose focus where you would be. And then you go zoom out more, and you get to, let's say, city level, you wouldn't know where you are. You start losing that spot of yourself. If you were that dot, you start losing that spot. And then you zoom out even further, you go to Houston area, the greater Houston area, you will lose yourself again. You're becoming a minute detail in the actual image itself. And then it goes further and further and further, and you will start losing the sense of where you are. And then imagine yourself from Mars. The Earth itself looks like a dot. Where would you be in it? Which microdot would you be, right? And this is something we don't recognize, right? But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is working out all these logistics around us, whether we know it or not. one of the beautiful one of the beautiful commentary by Imam Ghazali, rahimahullah, he mentioned this beautiful one of the it's one of the description of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He's praising Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And I love how he mentioned this, right? He says he knows, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows all things knowable, encompassing all that transpires between the depth of the earth to the ends of the universe. Things are happening around us and we don't even know. Nothing of an atom's weight is in the earth and the heaven escapes his knowledge. Rather, he knows the creeping, this part, creeping of a black ant across a soundless stone on a lightless night. I love, subhanAllah, the details and the description here is so vivid. You look at, he knows the creeping of a black ant at night. It's lightless night. You don't even see it. Nobody will see it. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sees it, a black ant across a soundless stone on a lightless night. And subhanAllah, this is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, right? He knows the movement of the particles on a windy day. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows what's around us. Yes, and then of course we will then go into Surah Al-Rahman, and Allah talks about it even further, which is
ذات الأكمام والنخل ذات الأكمام في الميزان ووضع
when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says,
والسماء رفعها ووضع الميزان ألا تطغوا في الميزان.
the verses itself, it's such an amazing way Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions it, right? That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about how they are all working together. The moon and the sun and the moon are calculated follow their calculated course, right? They know where they have to be at a certain point and they're not going to deviate from it. Same thing at Fajr, the sun knows that it has to come at sunrise. It knows exactly that second is going to come up. And like us, right, we will delay a few things, salah here and there, the dua and such. But the moon and the sun will never even miss their appointment to come up other than what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has appointed for them. And it happens in this precision every single day, whether we care or not, whether we do what we do or not, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has it happening around us every single day. And this is just the sun and the moon that we see, the night and the falling of that, right? Of course, if you even go beyond the solar system itself and the galaxies and beyond, we know from the narration that the heavens, the actual samawat, under samawat, the space, every single thing is constantly expanding. The speed of light is expanding. Allah is forming, different creation is happening every single day. Planets here, stars here, and such. It's expanding over and over and over. And then also, The one another nation narration is talking about the angels, that there's not a space of 4 fingers, that there is an angel in between that are asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, or are praising Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, glorifying Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, making you azkar to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I mean, this is a huge creation around us, to a point, if there was one of the aspects of the angels, that what is the average size angel around us, right? There's a narration that not a single person who prays alone in their seclusion or whenever they're praying themselves, that there is a angel praying with them a size of a mountain. And then you take that understanding, a size of a mountain, angels are praying next to you, and then you times it with 70,000 angels going to Bayt al-Ma'mur, the Kaaba in the heavens, every day, and they never repeat. And you times it all together, subhanAllah, how many angels are there? And that's also happening. How about the creation of jinns? How about the creation around us? And this is just an example of those who are, of those who surely in the creation of Allah subhanahu, in the heavens and the earth, in the alteration of day and night, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, there are signs of those who have understanding, who are the people of wisdom. But at the end of this, I wanted to change the subject to, which is the topic today, which is simplest blessing. Now, this is again things that, mashallah, the intricacies of it, and they're very sophisticated. But I wanted to go down our level, like my level, which is not space, not over there, Bayt al-Ma'mur and such. I wanted to go as a human level in the easiest forms. And this is something Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does. Even in Surah Ghashiyah, if you look at how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, أَفَلَا يَنظُرُونَ إِلَى الْإِبِلِ كَيْفَ خُلِقَتْ. So do they not know how the camels they did not look at the camels, how they were created? And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, how the skies were raised in front of them. And this is to the Bedouin, those who actually are traveling every single day on the camels and such. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is referring to them to something that they actually can relate to. You look at Surah Rahman, the first verse is Ar-Rahman, Allama al-Quran, Khalaqa al-Insan. Look at the word right at the verse right after, Allamahu al-Bayan, and taught him to communicate. Imagine, this is something we learn from Adam alayhi salam, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala taught the names of angels to Adam alayhi salam, the ability for him to identify objects. So if you think about this smallest part, if we didn't know how to identify an object, how would we communicate with people? Let's say I want you to visit Masjid Salam. How would I tell someone, hey, go visit Masjid Salam? Go visit that building. Every single time I have to tell someone to go there, I have to probably take them there. The book, which book? I have to go grab the book wherever it is and bring it to the person and show them the book. And these are small intricacies that we don't think about. The biggest of all, which is I wanted to end with, which is something I try to do all the time with the youth and everybody else who actually listens, the khutbahs and such, is look at these hands, look at the eyes. This is happening. There's no robot that actually can come to this perfection that your brain sends a signal and your fingers move the way you want to. The tongue moves the way you want to. There's no perfection other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's. And this is an ability Allah gave us, right? We're not deaf, alhamdulillah, we can hear. There are people who actually don't have hearing, people who can't talk, people who can't raise their hands, people who can't walk, people who can't see, people who can't eat because they don't have anything, right? And these are all signs of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. One, that we are loved, we are great, we are, we should be grateful that we are blessed, and so much more. And if any time we actually think of, like even COVID-19, yeah, you think of people, alhamdulillah, many of us, most of us, inshallah ta'ala, are safe at home. We're not in war-torn area dealing with, COVID-19 and that, right? And the other portion I wanted to mention, inshallah ta'ala, is understand this, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has the signs all around us. One of the things about COVID-19 was the immune system, right? We never thought about it until everybody's going vitamins and such. I'll end with this, inshallah ta'ala. There's a lot happening around us. There's a lot happening around us. It is up to us how we take these signs, take these directions, and use them to improve our connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, be grateful. add to the gratitude towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And being grateful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is a win-win. You think about it, right? As Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, if you're grateful, I'll give it to you more. So inshallah ta'ala, this is the episode for Simple Blessing. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept from you all. Allah accept from us all. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept our worship. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgive us all. Inshallah ta'ala, I'll see you next week. Or actually, maybe tomorrow we'll see, based on we have a trivia tomorrow, the family trivia. We may not do the episode, or we will do it a bit earlier than today, which is we'll start at 5:45 instead, inshallah. Jazakumullah khair. Till then, inshallah, take care. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.